All right, boys, we're gonna go ahead and jump in here. I decided to do a stream instead of a video today because I've already uploaded today and I don't want to take my shit. And also, I wanted to see what kind of interaction I would pull with a stream that was just out of the blue. So I wanted to see how many people would show up to that ultimately. So I think we're gonna learn both of those things today, but today what we're gonna be talking about, if I do edit this into a YouTube video, which I do anticipate to, we are going to talk about the new news that we have as it pertains to specifically Draft League and my thoughts on the matter, because we have a lot of really cool news and I was juiced the whole day because there were a lot of really cool things introduced specifically for people like you and me who play Draft League, who are interested in Draft League. So I wanted to go over my thoughts, and I think doing it live too is really cool because I'll be able to anybody can point anything out. I can talk about whatever you guys see as well that I miss. Really, why did you do it twice in a row? You didn't have to do that again, man. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Thriller. I feel like I'm indebted to you, man. I feel like I owe you something, straight up. Thank you so much, man. I seriously can't thank you enough, man. I'm gonna, like, you get your own role in the server now. Pick a color, you get a role. I'm at a loss for words. I really appreciate it, man. Wow, thank you. I really appreciate that. That's insane. Twice in a row, man. I can't thank you enough, seriously. But so I guess going into this, I don't know if I'll get copyrighted if I just watch the video outright. So we're just gonna kind of go through. We're gonna scrub through and see some. We're gonna scrub through here and see some important points. Right here is the first important point I wanted to talk about. New Pokemon specifically. We have a list of all the new Pokemon, but you can see things like Yanma, Hoot here, and then Sintret right here. Oh, and but Gligar is the big one that I want to talk about. Gligar is a pretty interesting Pokemon as it pertains to Draft League because Gliscor is obviously very good in Draft League. It's a ground and flying type, which is fantastic in Draft League. It is worse Landorus. I do think it is worse Landorus. Put a watermark. I'm not actually watching the video. Do I have to do that when I'm scrubbing? Popo, I see you. Do I have to do that when I'm just scrubbing? I'm not actually. The music's a little loud. Okay. There. Music quieter. Oh, that was not that. I see you, Owen. There's like a 20-second delay. I don't think I have to though. But I will just in case, I guess. Let's see, ad source. Yo, what's going on, guys? How's everybody doing today? Owen's screaming at me to add a logo, and I trust his judgment, so I'm gonna add a watermark of just my logo. Let's see. And then let me make the opacity a little bit lower here. 1 second, guys. Filters, edit filters. Scrubbing is fine, but if you want to be safe, watermark, I guess. Yeah, okay. Well, hold on. Yo, what's going on? We are just getting in here. About to discuss it. I'm loading up Photoshop really quickly because I don't know how the fuck to make this lower opacity in Streamlabs. So give me a second. I was not prepared to do an overlay. A watermark. Let's see. John Jr. graphics, logos. This shouldn't take but a couple seconds here. And then let me change this. Filter too late though. Is a filter? I don't have it as a filter. I checked filters already. Filters, edit filters. is a grayscale. This is clearly not a high enough opacity. Hold on. We'll get there eventually. Okay, it's there. My logo is there. You can see it. I think it's a high enough opacity. Okay, so anyway, now that Owen is done screaming at me, hopefully this is good enough. We have Gligar. Gligar obviously means Gliscor is back in Draft League, which is a massive thing. Ground flying type is obviously very, very good defensively. And some people like Owen thinks it's better than Lando T. I don't think so, but I do think it's a really interesting Pokemon this generation with the fact that it has Terra. I think Terra on is going to be really, really cool. Yo, what's going on, Armenia? How are you doing today? I think Gliscor is just going to be really, really cool as far as a Terra captain potentially. If it keeps Rock Polish and it keeps Sword Stance, which I'm not sure if it'll keep Rock Polish. But if it keeps at least Sword Stance, it'll be really cool as a setup sweeper potentially with Terra. It'll probably, I think, keep Knockoff because I'm almost positive Knockoff is a level up move. It'll get things like U-turn still, and it should still get Spikes, I would imagine. I think mainly the things it's going to miss are going to be Power Whip, and I think it's going to miss Defog, but I'm almost positive it's going to miss Defog. But Gliscor is going to be really cool. I just don't see it being better than Lando, though. I don't see it being better than Lando, but that's my personal use. I know Gliscor is really good. I'm just not a big fan of it, but it is really cool to have like another high-tier defensive ground type added to the Paldea decks. So you got to think in terms of Paldea decks, we don't have very many of those at this point, and Gliscor alongside now Lando, who we just got back, is going to be really cool to fill that kind of high-tier ground type that we have there, and also going to be really interesting as a Terra captain. I'm really excited to see that for sure. Just finished my week 2 battle for JJDL. Hope you do. Tell me how. It sucks. That's how on. Okay, so next thing here, we had a couple of other really cool Pokemon. What was this one? Oricorio. No, not that one. Oh, this picture, by the way, was fantastic, but we already knew Wooper and Yanma. Where is it? Oh, right here. Okay. We see Snorlax. Now, Snorlax might not be the most intimidating Pokemon in the world. It might not be the biggest name of a Pokemon that you see, but Snorlax is... Thank you for the interaction, Owen. Snorlax is still really awesome because of the fact that we have no bulky normals in the Paldea decks right now. We have like Blissey and the Dunsparce are the best ones, and Blissey is dog shit, and the Dunsparce is pretty good, but you don't really want it to be your best normal. I actually can't think of any other top normal threats. Oh, Ursaluna now. Ursaluna is the best one by far, but then other than that, there's a pretty wide margin from Ursaluna to the next best normal type. I think Snorlax is going to be fantastic. Just to fill a lot of roles. I think it's going to be very highly valued, especially in a format where there's Spectre or Dragapult, things like that. I think Snorlax is going to be very, very highly sought after. And we will go to this. So this I'm going to talk about a little bit in a minute. I've got an article pulled up for this, but basically these ugly things, their fucking ability got leaked, and it's really good. It's really good. Ooh, I'm not gonna play it because I don't know if I'll get copyrighted, but this one, by the way, if you guys don't know Obo, this Monkey Dory looks exactly like fucking Obo. It's actually uncanny. But we'll talk about these guys in a little bit. I don't like any more anymore in game. Now that I've seen them, I don't think, at least. I don't know. Maybe I do. I like the bird, I think, more in game, but these are tough to really like. Yo, what's going on, Trey? How you doing? They do have very good abilities. We'll talk about them in a minute, but essentially it's like Poison Touch, but for all moves. And then we get just a shot of this guy. So excited to see what this guy turns into, because I can't tell if I like his design or not, or what types he might be or anything like that just from this. But so that's what we can expect from the first DLC. We do have a list as well on the Teal mask here. We also have Ninetales. Ninetales is really cool for those Sun teams. I don't need this fucking overlay anymore. Ninetales is really cool for these Sun teams. Obviously, Torkoal is very, very sought after right now and very overpriced at the moment because of the fact that it's the only Sun setter, but Ninetales is going to mitigate that a little bit in some fashion. We talked about Snorlax. It's going to just be useless, and so is Knocked Out. Ambipom could be cool. Another pretty decent speed tier in a deck that lacks a lot of good speed tiers. Steel Dragon, that would be really cool, Armenia. The little monkey looks puntable. Also, there is toxic poison. Yep. So, little monkey definitely does look puntable. But Ambipom is really cool because of the speed tier. Yanmega's probably not going to see a ton of use, but it could be interesting with Terra for sure. Glide Scarlet, we already talked about. Mightyena, a bad dark in a generation where a bunch of good darks were introduced. Same with Shiftry and same with Crawdon, I guess. Chimecho is not really going to be used as Levitate, which is cool, but Heal Bell, I guess it'll have some usability. Milotic, oh, did I miss the Milotic section? Was Milotic in this section? I thought it was in the next part. Where are you, Milotic? I thought it was over here. Did they just put it in the wrong section? Yeah, it was right here. No, it was over here. Oh. So I guess they say it's gonna be in the teal mask. I don't know. I guess it's gonna be in the teal mask based on what they say. It looks like it's gonna be in the indigo disc though. But Milotic's really cool. Obviously, in a generation where there are shit bulky waters, there are literally like Slowbro, Slowking, Dondozo. And then the list ends there of viable bulky waters. You have Toxapex, which is fine. You have, I mean, Toxapex kind of blows without knockoff and Scald, right? But usable, I suppose. So is Vaporeon, but it lost a lot of utility by losing Toxic. And I think it lost either Roar or Haze, one of the two, if not both. So it lost a lot of versatility. But Milotic being added is fantastic. It's just a good bulky water in general, as long as it keeps recover, which is going to. And the big thing here is it looks like it got Scald. Scald is fantastic, obviously, but this is a little bit worrisome, right? Is a little bit worrisome because a lot of people are saying, oh, I gotta put my overlay back on so I don't get copyrighted. Blech, I guess. A lot of people are scared that this means that Scald is going to be widely distributed again, because why would you give it to Milotic and not give it to something like, I don't know, Dondozo, Slowbro, Slowking? Why would you not give it back to those Pokemon? So this could potentially mean that maybe Scald is a move tutor in these DLCs, which is obviously a good thing depending on who you ask, a bad thing depending on who you ask. Me personally, I was really enjoying my meta where my bulky waters were not able to burn things, and I was not able to be burned by these bulky waters, especially with a lot of usable grasses or usable switch-ins being physical this generation. Scald, no, there is no steam coming off the move, but there was also a picture, Volcanion. Hold on, actually, let me look at my Discord server with my friends. I think somebody posted it earlier. There's a side-by-side of Volcanion using Scald and Milotic right beside it, and it was just the same shit. Yeah, here it is. Right here. Let me see if it looks right on stream. Yeah, so you can see the kind of animation that it's using right here, and it's not steam coming off of it necessarily. It's more so the steam coming off of the Pokemon it's hitting, right? So if we go back and we look at Milotic, where did it go? If we look at this thing, that is just the exact same stream up here. That is just Scald. There's just no denying it. That is just the same thing, right? That is just the same thing. It is Milotic using Scald, no doubt. The question is whether this is distributed or not. Whether or not it is to be determined. I would assume it's a move tutor. I'm assuming you're not just giving it to Milotic. Only good players and bad bitches are excited about Scald. Shut up, Owen. It's in my video if you want to see it. I already found it though. Oh my gosh. I did leave a like on your video though, of course. Both Pokeball missing and Scald burning feel like 70%. That's very true. And I don't know, Scald being back, Scald's a cool move, obviously. It's just, I don't like it very much. I don't think it's fun. I don't have fun into it, especially in a meta where all the bulky grasses that want to take hits don't like being burned. A lot of them are physical. You have things like Rillaboom, don't want to be burned. Zarude has jungle healing, but obviously he's still a physical attacker. He doesn't enjoy being burned. A lot of the switch-ins right now don't enjoy being burned at all, especially with a lot of them not having recovery because of, I don't know, them being snapped or with limited recovery. Being burned is fucking awful. Being burned is not fun. So a lot of people are excited about this, and this is a lot of people's least favorite things coming back. Me personally, I'm not looking forward to it. I really was enjoying No Scald, but I do think it's coming back. I just don't know if they're going to distribute it. And I don't know why Cerebi has it on the teal mask. They have it on the indigo disc too, so it might be a mistake over here. I think it's second DLC. So whether or not we'll see that until second DLC, I guess, is to be determined. I would probably say, if I had to guess, that it is coming back in the second DLC, unless Milotic comes back in the first DLC. So, and then it says we have Vikavolt 2. Vikavolt's pretty cool if it kept webs, which is fantastic. If it kept webs, it's the best web setter in the game because there's no Araquanid and no Galvantula. So, I mean, it's arguably better than both of those anyway. Maybe depending on who you ask, but Vikavolt's cool. And then we have the Indigo Disc. Let me go back over here. Now this is where there are a lot of mons. I'm excited. Kurt thinks it's going to be a move called Schwippy Drippy Whippy Water Twippy and have a chance to freeze on Friday if your name is Marvin. Shout out to Marvin Barvin, who is going to get extremely lucky with those freezes. But there are a lot of other cool Pokemon, and specifically the second DLC that I'm super pumped for. You have Flygon. Flygon's one of my favorites. I think with Terra, it's going to be super, super cool, especially in a format with very limited fairies. There's a lot to be excited about if you're a Flygon fan. Especially in Free Terra, I think Flygon's going to be super cool, assuming it keeps its tools that it had, which I don't think it would lose anything except Defog. I want more mons getting hazards and Pokemon getting removal back. Spike, Gliscor, and Metagross would be dope. Spike's Metagross would be dope. That's a Pokemon we haven't talked about yet that I'm super excited to talk about here in a second. But Flygon, super, super cool. The only thing I could see it realistically losing is Defog. It might even gain Spikes, which would be super cool. Another one right here is Alcremie, if it'll load. Alcremie. So Alcremie's ass. There's no way around it. This Pokemon is dog shit. However, the fact that another fairy is being added to the game, whether it be the worst fairy in the game like this or Comfey fucking blows too, so we'll throw that name in the hat, or whether it be a top tier fairy, it's just good for the meta. Having another fairy is good for the meta, so you don't have to draft fairy type Tinkatuff. It's just fantastic to see that. So we do love Flygon. We do love Flygon. Why is Kurt yelling about Flygon in call? What a weird guy. What a weird individual. Why does Kurt not like Flygon? Oh yeah, you guys are talking about my favorite ones right now that I'm so excited to talk about. Let's see here. There were a couple more here. Where did they go? I saw them. I know they're here. I was so excited for them. Where did you go? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Metagross. So Metagross is fantastic. Metagross is one of my favorite Pokemon. I know it's one of Owen's favorite Pokemon too. Metagross is super fucking cool. No more Mimikyu. Exactly. You don't have to draft Mimikyu anymore, Obo. But Metagross is super fucking cool because already I think it's like an undervalued steel type that doesn't get enough love. It's so fucking good, so bulky, has such good coverage. Hopefully it retains that. That's to be seen, but it's just a really good steel in a format where people are drafting Paparaja on purpose. So the Metagross being in the game is going to be felt for sure. It's going to be one of the better steel types. It's going to be like around 3-4 pick depending on how many steel types are added, of course, but right now there's not that many, so getting Metagross is going to be crucial to a lot of drafts. It's going to be a fantastic glue piece to a lot of drafts, and it could potentially even get some new moves. We always talk about it, but the fact that it has the potential, and it simply should have shift gear, maybe finally is the generation to get shift gear is now. That was not a sentence. Maybe it will finally get shift gear is what I'm trying to say, because I'm a big Metagross advocate, shift gear Metagross advocate, but obviously it has some other potential too. Spikes is a TM now, so maybe it'll get Spikes, who knows. But just the fact that it's a bulky steel in a meta where there are no bulky steels, where there's Paparaja on purpose, is going to be very fantastic for the meta, and I'm very excited to see that. There was one right before this too. Oh, there was Golurk. Golurk's pretty cool as a low tier ground. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Reuniclus. This was the other big one I wanted to talk about. Shift gear Metagross is a possibility. I hope so. But so Reuniclus is also really cool. Specifically with Terra, this mon is going to be a demon, I think. Oh my gosh, just the bulk that Reuniclus has. Obviously, specifically in singles, Regenerator is probably the best ability in the game, and Reuniclus having access to not only that, but also Magic Guard makes it have like endless possibilities prep-wise already. It's super cool to prep with. It has things like Trick Room. You can run offensive Trick Room sets. You can run very bulky Regenerator AV sets. It has a lot of versatility prepping. And now you throw Terra into the mix, and this Pokemon is just super scary. It could basically be a guaranteed check to whatever Pokemon you want it to check, which I think is just super exciting. And hopefully, again, we don't know, it's to be seen. Hopefully it will retain some of its coverage, because right now I'm not super hopeful that mons will retain coverage, because a lot of Pokemon got cucked over. But if Reuniclus retains coverage, I see no reason why this Pokemon won't be a demon with Terra. I think this Pokemon will be crazy with Terra. Metagross might lose its setup options. That is true. I do think Metagross will probably lose both Rock Polish and Hone Claws, at least Rock Polish. I don't know if Hone Claws was a level up move or not. And again, that's just one of the scariest things with these Pokemon. So let's see if there's any Pokemon we missed here. We have Executor, fantastic for all the Executor fans out there. Jorge, Zebstrika, Whimsicott. Obviously, Whimsicott is super good for VGC, not necessarily for singles, so I'm not going to talk on it too much, but Whimsicott is going to be crazy for VGC. Chinchino, I guess another high speed tier Pokemon, same with Whimsicott, right? Golurk, like I said, is going to be really cool. Didn't even see Meowstic. So we don't have that many Pokemon revealed so far, I guess, but it might keep agility, yeah, but I think it's really cool to speculate about this stuff. And then the last thing that I wanted to touch on, guys, and I might turn this into a video, is going to be Monkey Dory and his two goons over here. Their new ability, the Toxic Chain ability, as far as I understand it, basically it has a 30% chance, like Poison Touch, to badly poison a target if it gets hit by a move, any move. It doesn't have to be physical, it can be physical or special, which is really, really cool. Here you can see the example is Air Slash, showing that it can be physical or special. So that is fantastic. It's just a very good ability, and that tells me that these guys are probably all part poison type, right? Like you would assume maybe Flying Poison, which I'm trying to, what's another Flying Poison type? Crobat. Crobat's pretty good. It's a pretty good mon, and it's used bulky a lot because it's a pretty good defensive combination of types. So it may not have the best stats, but hopefully this will have some bulkier stats and it'll be actually pretty usable. I would assume just probably grass or ground poison, right? Ground poison is fantastic. That's Nidoking, right? That's going to be awesome. And then I don't have any idea what this little shit's going to be. I'm going to be honest. Dark type, dark poison, maybe, and dark poison's a really good type. Yeah, it's basically a better poison touch, but it toxics instead of poisons, and it does it for both physical and special moves. So a lot to be excited about. These guys look like they'll actually probably be useful. Obviously, poison's a pretty good defensive typing. This is obviously going to be a flying type. I guess it could also be a psychic type. Psychic poison's also pretty damn good. Galarian Slowking. I don't think it's going to be Grass Dart. I think you're just looking at, like, because I was doing the same thing. I think we're looking at this and we're thinking Zarude, right? I think it has very similar colors to Zarude, very similar body shape to Zarude. So you look at it and you automatically think Zarude. I think it'll probably be, I think it has to be part poison type. I think they all have to be part poison type. I think probably ground fighting and I guess grass are my three guesses. Grass poison, I guess, would make sense, but not really. It doesn't, it's just the color scheme. It's just the color scheme, right? And then Monkey Dory, like I said, I think dark type. I think this guy's gonna be bulky. This guy's gonna be offensive, maybe, unfortunately, and this guy's gonna be fast, I guess, or maybe switch these two around, offensive, bulky. I'm not really sure the read on these two, but I think it's gonna be cool. I'm excited. I'm actually thinking these are gonna be pretty decent Pokemon, probably same stats around, I would say, Urshifu and Spectrier and Glastrier as far as those stats go. It could be a fighting type. It could be a fighting type. Oh yeah, you're right. And the mask guy. That's a good point. The mask guy. I did briefly touch on it, but we'll go back to him a second and try to guess his type. So he has he's grass type. He's part grass type. There's no doubt in my mind. He has little seeds coming out of his feet. He has this little leaf. His whole color scheme is green. I think he's definitely part grass type. I think the other thing to be determined is what is his other type, what is his secondary type. I think it could be steel. People were saying steel. I think rock makes a lot of sense too because of the Terra Crystal. I think there's a lot of different options, right? Utility, bulky, physical offense, and special fast offense. That's also definitely, that's a good guess. That is a good guess, Armenia. I definitely could see that happening. But yeah, I think you think definitely part steel. Okay, well, if he's definitely part steel, I think he's definitely part grass. So I'll meet you halfway and I'll say he is a grass steel type, which is a fantastic type, obviously, if that is what it is. But oops, I accidentally just opened Spotify. I think that's all we have to talk about today, guys. I don't think there was really anything else introduced except for we got actual dates on when they're going to be released. No, we didn't. We got actual time frames for when they're going to be released, so fall and winter. So obviously we have that to look forward to. It's going to be really cool to do leagues around that time. It's going to work out pretty well, actually, to get a season in between part 1 and part 2. So I think that's it. Bleedo, I see you just got here. We're about to head off of here. We're about to hit the 30-minute mark. So I appreciate you guys coming out. This was a fantastic stream. Thriller, thank you again, man. DM me what color you want your role to be. I'll get you a role in the server, and it could be called like top donator or number 1 donator or something like that, whatever you want it to be. Just let me know what you want the colors to be. And I think that's gonna be it for me here, guys. Let me know if I do edit this into a video. Let me know down below what you guys think as far as, you know, the different types of the legendaries, how excited you are for different Pokemon that are coming back, whether it be in the first DLC or the second DLC, and how you think they will affect draft. But I think that's gonna be it from me here, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're watching the live stream and if you're watching the video, thank you so much for watching the video. And for now, guys, this has been John Jr. signing off. Hopefully it keeps it in this time. I'm gonna stay here for just a second so it doesn't cut it off. We're gonna see. I'm gonna give it like 5 more seconds.